camera on your side?
It does.
Cool. All right, cool. So, hey everybody, welcome to Nightmares, anyone. It's me, Richard. It is Tuesday, September 9th, and today is the release date of a really good friend of mine, horror author, Nightmare Man himself, Jerry Roth. Yeah, this is the book. Mine's going to look a little bit different than yours, probably. So before I start talking and rambling, let's bring the Monster Man in himself. So as you guys can see, I'm not in my library, so I'm going to pop in Jerry right now. So let's pull this guy in and see what the hell we've been doing. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Richard, thank you so much for having me. I always love being on your show.
Buddy. No. This is my, it's a pleasure to have you, man. So I was just telling everybody, Jerry, we have not done this in 3 years. Can you believe
That's
this?
crazy. That's crazy. I feel like you do Solomon. He's a buddy of mine, Solomon Petrus. I feel like you have him on the show a lot more. I introduced you to him, and now he's on the show more. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked. I really don't know how that worked. It's really, really funny, Jerry, because when we just got back from Europe, we were in Europe for 3 weeks. That's and we did a midnight Jack the Ripper tour, walking tour. And I was talking to the tour guide about horror author friends and stuff. And I told him I was reading your book, and he said, now that's my kind of stuff. But yeah, it was great. I did finish the book while we were on our cruise and our trip. But so we've got some questions. I've got questions that I wrote down. Let me grab the tablet. So how the hell you been? I like your haircut.
Thank you. So here's the other version. You got the special edition version that goes to the most important people. But this one here, I actually like to cover as well.
I do too. I actually like the blue. I really, really, really like the blue. It adds. It really, really adds to the ghostly effect. Yeah. But so everybody, I was talking to Jerry a couple of weeks ago on the phone about doing this interview and stuff. And I'm not going to ramble because I'm going to let this man ramble this time. You guys remember 3 years ago when we did this, we were both I wasn't nervous, but Jerry and I had never done a live chat before, but I'm going to show my copy, and then I've got some questions that were sent to me in emails. This is from Marcus Ray. He lives in Chicago, Illinois. He said, Richard, do me a favor. Please ask Jerry if we can still get the special edition author box, the gift box. I didn't know, so I told him I'd ask you here.
Yep. I promised myself that I would do this as a limited thing. So I think I do as of now. If you look on my website, I do have 4 copies left that I can create and make into a box set.
Cool.
What I found out is I don't know. I think you've already described it in our earlier video about the box set. So the box set I created. I wanted to do something different to advertise the book, get people excited about. So what I decided to do was, for a limited amount of people, I did no more than 100. So I'm only down to 4. So it was a great success. But what I did was I created a completely different cover so that people who wanted a box set will get a completely different experience. They'll get a different visual. So you get a kind of a cooler, kind of a retro look on the special edition one, which has the Polaroid camera on there and kind of has the eerie kind of sickly green cover.
Yeah, dude. Very, very Reagan McNeil throw up vomit color. Yeah.
So what I was excited to do is that, in the book, when you read the book, there are elements of cursed items, cursed objects that help to maybe bring a certain ghost back to life. So what I thought would be fun to do is, in promoting this, is have a special edition where I also put in a cursed item that I bring along with this thing, and I actually lead this to and created a backstory. There are 5 different, in case you didn't know, there are 5 different objects that you could have gotten. I think you got which one did you get?
I got the magnifying necklace, and then I got the 2 scrolls. Yeah, and I still haven't. I still haven't unrolled the second scroll because that first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think you got the. Did you get the amulet though? Did you get the amulet, or did you get the jar?
I got the little jar. I got
Okay.
the little jar with another little scroll inside there, and I
Okay.
took the cork off. But then I thought,
It's too late.
I'm not gonna unroll this little piece of paper till I've read the book.
Well, the funny thing is that obviously the one that you have, it's a ghost trapped into the scroll, and if you opened up and you looked at the scroll, it would be a character in the book's name, which would be Britney Spears in this one. Oh, Riley Spears. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Britney Spears. Riley Spears is one of the characters. But also, if you bought a box set, you could randomly get a key, a master key that has a backstory, an amulet that would have some piece of torn cloth. So I did several different ones, and I thought it'd be good that you scan the back of the barcode, and it would take you to the website, and it would show you the history of this dark object. But also, if you click a button, it will lead to the history of my church, the one that my family lived in, and the one that we wrote about in the book.
So now almost everybody that is probably watching this, and probably about 600 or 700 more people, those of you that don't know the backstory of Moxie Manor, I'm going to pop up a picture here, and I told Jerry we had these pictures, but let's see which one's going to pop up first. I think I might. Oh, that's the wrong one. I told you. Let's go. That's. Tell everybody that's watching what that is right now.
Well, this is the picture of the church, and it's kind of interesting because the church was built in 1908 by the side of a road, so it has easy access to the patrons. But it's a little unassuming right now. But if you looked at the entire structure, it's definitely kind of daunting and creepy. So maybe I'll add some. If you guys go to my website and you see the history, I'm going to add some actual pictures of us. The pictures we took inside the church, and it definitely has more of a spooky kind of vibe to it. And that was kind of the inspiration to writing the book. When our family lived there, we had so many experiences where we couldn't explain. We would try to explain to people what we felt, what we saw. There were dozens of times that we saw, no joke, me and my son, he's a teenager now, but we saw a woman's spirit crossing, doorways all the time. Literally, at least once a week, somebody would say, we saw something, and we're like, oh, we get sort of get used to the idea that we tell each other, and my son, he lives over the attic, and at night he would always hear people chattering at night, people talking above him. I mean, you're talking about 2 in the morning, and a 16-year-old listening to chatter of people talking above him. So it was one of those things where I had a relative come in, and she did sage, and she would try to cleanse the house. And she stopped in my son's bedroom and said, I don't think I want to go in there. There's something in there that's watching us. And that was why I had to sort of, there's a lot of scenes in his bedroom. It was with the Watchers is one of the characters in there. And so I used a lot of that. I took a lot of what creeped us out, the areas of the house that scared us, that kind of made us nervous, and I tried to put it into the most inspiring book that I could. At least.
How long did you guys live there?
We lived there about 3 years, so we got a pretty good overall experience of what it's like to sort of be isolated in a huge church. It definitely gave me the feels of The Shining. If anybody's read Stephen King's The Shining, obviously it's a big hotel, and we had a lot of experiences that were similar to that. And it kind of gave me the idea that maybe objects and maybe structures kind of carry a stain with them of something that's happened in the past.
Oh God. So Jerry and I talked about this. To those of you that have all read On the Tip of Her Tongue, Jerry is a master. I'm telling you what, I think his book On the Tip of Her Tongue, which I did a diamond painting of, which he has framed on his wall. You guys have all seen that picture. But Jerry has a way of hiding puzzles in his books. Okay, so I told you when I talked to you on the phone, I asked you, how many different ways of finding puzzles in this book.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to spoil anything, but Jerry, you told me that we would talk about this.
Sure,
But
absolutely.
before we start talking about the puzzles, you really went batshit crazy with this one. You have, it's so funny because when I was reading this, I saw so many horror tropes and scenes from, I wouldn't say vintage because they're from the 70s and 80s, but
Yeah.
before I forget, don't forget to drink your Ovaltine.
Nice. All right, don't tell anybody where you found that, but
Yeah, I won't. But so one of the best scenes in this book took me back to oh my God, I was going to look this up and I forgot this morning. I think it came out in like 1978 or 79, or even maybe in the 80s. But do you remember the Disney movie with Betty Davis, Watchers in the Woods?
I
The
do.
Watcher in the Woods.
Yeah.
This book, one of the storylines, and everybody, there's like 7 or 8 storylines. So, but there was a storyline in here that reminded me so much of Narak and the scene in the church where Holly, God, what was her name? Holly Johnson plays the character, and she's blindfolded, and they're doing a ritual with her in the church. I have goosebumps. You guys, I seriously have goosebumps. There is a scene in this book, the eye gouging scene. But before I start talking about scenes, tell everybody what this book is about. What can they expect without giving any spoilers when they pick up this book and crack open the cover? And like I said at the beginning of the video, the book does come out today. Don't forget those. I know a lot of people have said they pre-ordered it. They should be getting there sometime today or tomorrow. But tell everybody. Why the hell a damn camera? Why a Polaroid camera? I have one out in the garage and I don't think I'll ever touch it again. So
yeah, I think what I was trying to do is I mean, you can probably see from my house, I have let me see if I can see it over here, this section here. I have all VHS up here, DVDs down here, and CDs down here. So I'm a kind of person that loves physical media. I think that's one of the things I'm afraid we're going to lose in this digital world is to be able to touch something, feel something, know that it's yours, even something scary, especially something scary. You want that feeling. And I think that's kind of what I drew inspiration for the objects. I wanted something that, everybody has, even if you haven't owned one, you've been around a Polaroid and there's kind of like there's a mystique and there's a wonder to it. Like, how does this, like a factory all in one small little size that creates images? But again, it's like, when you're talking about technology that's a little bit older, there's almost a magic to it. Like, what is it bringing in when it's developing? What is it seeing? Is it seeing something that our eyes don't see? And I thought, with the world that we live in now and everything's digital, it's almost disposable. I wanted to bring back some items that, that could have had stains from trauma on it, something that could outlive the person that owns it. I think that's that's one of the cool aspects of it is that these objects that I put in the book that may be cursed or have a life of their own, they're going to carry on well after all of these characters are long past. So it kind of brings the idea of almost immortality to a story when you can bring in cursed items, something that bigger than what the people who own it are, because they're not going to outlive that kind of magic.
Bruce just walked in.
Hey, Bruce.
He said hi. He just walked in with Zero. So let's talk about Harper and Casper. So Casper being the person telling the story, he's a horror author like you. Of course, him and Harper are going through a tragic loss. And did you see yourself and your wife? From what I know about you when we've talked, Casper Finch is so Jerry Roth. It's like, knowing that you guys lived in the church. So, what about Casper? What kind of person did you? He reminded me so much of you. It was uncanny.
Yeah, I wanted to not stray too far away from myself. If you read like, some of the best stories ever are about authors. Stephen King did Misery, and I'm sure there are aspects, in all of his stories, especially ones that are about authors that, derive from him to make it more realistic. And I did the same thing. When I moved into the church originally, I was stunned at the scenery around me, ceilings that go up 25, 30 feet, it has a whole different feeling. But what I wanted to bring into the story was something that kind of grounded it, like what would an author who moved into a haunted house, what would be the reason he does it? For me, it was inspiration. But as you read this story, you find out that the character of Casper Finch, he does it kind of for inspiration, but for a whole twisted another reason.
Finch. Where have we heard that name before? Classic Atticus Finch. But so I was surprised how horrific you made this tale. And everybody, there is everything in here. There is, like I said, eye gougings. There's some of the most disturbing scenes of these watchers, these creepy ass things that live in the woods that's behind the church. But you brought all these aspects of horror and you took so many tropes. And the character Twix in the book took me back to an old Dean Koontz yellow lab from
The Watchers.
The Watchers.
And yeah, absolutely.
You took so many. I love this, but there were scenes where I actually, when I was reading it, I'd put it down and I told Bruce, I said, "You've got to read this one. This one's really fucked up compared to." I was not expecting some of the scenes that were in this book, and the yard sale aspect. I mean, she becomes obsessed. She almost becomes. We're talking about Harper. She almost becomes obsessed with going to find the ultimate treasure at a yard sale. And what she finds is actually a portal into something that actually would scare the shit out of me. It would scare the hell out of me. And there were scenes, you guys, Jerry took a lot of photos. And there's photos throughout the book. I can talk about this now because I've got him on the channel. But there are some of the creepy ass photos in here that Jerry actually took. And depending on how you look at the book, I would recommend everybody reading it first and then going back through and trying to find the answers to the questions you have, because you're going to have a lot of them. Why? I don't know how to ask you this without. Why was Twix the way he was? I'm still kind of thinking, was he really the Twix that we read about, or is he just?
That part I can't tell you.
I don't want you to tell me the answer, but
yeah, I know.
Did you come up with Twix? Because your dog is actually named what?
My dog is named Snickers.
Snickers.
Yeah.
So Snickers and Twix, candy bars of the 70s and 80s.
So when I think kind of the impetus for creating this, as you evolve as a writer, the first idea is to chase down the big five companies and get your stuff published with them. But along with that, there are a lot of rules that you must abide by. There's a lot of standard rules. Uh, industry. Things that you need to do. You can't go too far off the plantation or ranch when you're coming up with these ideas because you have to have some kind of solid ground when you're going to publish to the masses. Well, my idea this time was to do a little different. I feel like my strength comes from is kind of stepping out of the norm and writing something that kind of maybe writers other writers wouldn't take a chance at. I'm hoping that I push the boundaries a little bit. I mean, for something like this, I really swung for the fences. I wanted to take a lot of the genres that I loved in horror and put them in a blender and just hit puree and find out how it kind of falls out. A lot of times, I will say, well, with this one you're dealing with a lot of maybe some unreliable narrator, in a lot of points, because you want to pull people out of their comfort zone. And that was kind of my goal with this one. You're going to find elements that, like, okay, is that a dream, is that real? What are they seeing, who's seeing it? Everything is finished, you have a better idea of what happened, but you're still along the way, you're in it, like, really in a dreamy fog. And that was what I wanted to create the vibe with this one.
Mm-hmm. Now, has your wife's name is Trish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Has she read it as well as your older son? Have they read the finished book?
They haven't read it yet. They're sort of waiting to do it all as like a buddy read or something. I don't know, but so I did warn them that a lot of their rooms and a lot of the places in the house where they lived, that I it kind of adapted some scary moments of it, and some of these scenes, they've come from them.
Oh
How
my
they
God.
feel. They feel a sensation or certain parts of the house where you'd walk through and you would feel somebody being there, like a cold spot, and that happened all the time. And I just extrapolated all their fears and put them into a book for them. So, Father of the Year.
Hmm. So in the book, there is a scene where I can't remember the lady's name, but Trish Harper goes to the yard sale the first time,
Yeah.
and how did you come up with that lady that gives Harper the box? It's just
I,
like she reminded me so much of the lady that lives next door to us, and I was just like,
you
I
talking
don't
about
know
Carol?
where this man.
The
Yeah, what
Carol
was her
character?
name? Yeah,
Carrie?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now is she the same Carol that comes in later in the story?
absolutely. So I thought it'd be cool, to dive into maybe the people who live in the yard sale world. There are probably tons of them that we don't know that go to every thrift store, every rummage sale, and finding these treasures. Maybe not necessary to resell, but maybe for nostalgic reasons, something that draws them. I even
Mhm.
myself like going to yard sales and thrift stores. Always have. So it was one of those things where I wanted somebody who, I named the people that go to all these sales Yardbirds, just because that's their world. That's they live. They know all the rules. They know the corners and the angles, learning how to deal with people. And in a way, it was my character Harper's entry into the world, where they say there's more involved. Even if like somebody like Carol doesn't know about cursed items, they have a feeling, they have a sense, they see this stuff, they touch this stuff, they know there's more involved than just picking up an item in the store. They know there was a life before it. And I wanted to introduce that to Harper as she's trying to take these yard sale items and bring back a child to life. She how now has a support system to help her find these items.
God, and it's like you did it again. You scared the shit out of me, but you made me actually tear up a couple times. And
Really? Okay.
yeah, just the whole when you just said, bring a child back to life. It's like I think now that if I wouldn't have lost my kids, they'd be 38 and 40. And it's just like,
Oh wow.
as you watch your kids grow up, weren't your kids part of the reason that you guys moved out of Moxie Manor?
Yeah.
It's scaring the kids, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a harder life, you know. When you live in a massive church, everything is harder. Animals try to get in because you're out in isolated areas. You know, heating is harder. You have to, heat an area that's,
God.
enormous. So, I mean, everything is a little bit. It's a different kind of vibe and feeling, even a mental state when you're living in a place that's so big, and sometimes at night so scary. So,
Mhm.
we since we moved, we almost all, uniformly said we miss it. Now we wish that we had kept the house. We want to live there because it became sort of our personality in a
I
way.
don't know. That would be like going back to the Overlook or going
Or
back
Amityville or something. You're
or
right. Yeah.
Amityville 110, 112 Ocean Avenue, now 110. It's like
Yeah.
it's funny that you said Amityville Horror because there's a lot of scenes where I saw Casper and Harper as George and Kathy Lutz, or even Mr. and Mrs. DeFeo. And it's like, Raising Danny and Missy, and I
Yeah.
can't remember the other kid's name. But this book is scary. There were parts where I kind of chuckled, like, what the hell drug was Jerry on when he wrote this? It's just like, but it was just, do you ever go by the church anymore? Do you ever drive by it?
Yeah, we do. I try to like protect their privacy just because,
Mhm.
when
Yeah.
we lived there, we had a lot of people trying to stop in and see the place too. There were tons of families who number one got married there. They buried there's I'm sure there were hundreds and hundreds upon hundreds of caskets in that church at some point, for funerals. So it carries a lot of weight, a church does. So when you buy a church, there's a responsibility you have as an owner. When I first moved there, I had a write up of me from the local papers saying that a horror writer bought the church. This is a
I
beloved.
found those. I
Did
found
you?
those
Okay.
articles from the newspaper, and I downloaded them and saved them. So yeah, I'll put those links down below so you guys can read it too. In fact, I found some really old articles from the newspaper
Yeah.
from like the 30s and 40s that showed old black and white pictures of the church. And you guys, this church is real. It was called St. Pius,
St. Pius.
St. Pius.
St.
And
Pius.
yeah, it's just it just so how when you wrote this, how long did it take to write this story?
This one took a while. I think when you move, there's a transition where you're like, let me settle into my new place. And I think I settled into a new job at the same time. I always seem to do that. I buy a new
Mhm.
house at the same time I get a new job. So it kind of puts a lot of pressure on me for a little bit. But this one I let drag out a little longer. One of the things that I always loved, and I think you probably mentioned to it maybe in a text or something. I like the Eagles, and I know everybody does like the Eagles, but
Hotel California all the way.
yeah, and when I was a kid, like Hotel California had such an impact on me. You know, they done so much with the vibe, which is so few words in that song,
And
and I always
it's actually a creepy song. It's actually
it's
very, very
very
creepy.
creepy. I told myself that someday I am going to write, a book about. I can write a book about Hotel California. There's too many creepy parts, and I did steal a bunch from, not completely. I had to obviously go a different direction with my story, but I wanted to capture that vibe of Hotel California, about coming into a place and feeling it take over, feeling it has a personality, almost feeling like it's taking a part of your soul just by living there. And I wanted to like bring that across. That's why I sort of mentioned Hotel California, and yeah, I wanted to kind of bring up the idea of a place that's supernatural, that affects the people who live there.
Mhm. So when I was talking to you before we started recording, and I told you that I'd found some photos and stuff.
Yeah,
So you guys, there's a scene in the book. I won't say what it is, but it's probably three-quarters of the way through, where the characters find something in the basement. And I'm not spoiling anything, but Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I probably popped the wrong. I don't know why these are showing up in weird order, but let me see if I click on. It's like StreamYard has really, really changed
that's the church when
this one.
okay.
So Jerry actually took this photo, and this picture is actually one of the Polaroids in the book. So of course it's in black and white. Jerry, we can see the rafters of the church in the upper right corner.
Right.
And everybody, if you kind of skew your head to the right a little bit, you're going to see what looks like a tunnel. And Jerry, what the hell is that picture of? I know what it is because I've read the book.
Right.
But when we look at this photo, it looks like that is on the floor, if you were to think. But actually tell everybody without saying what is all that brown stuff in the bottom of the picture?
Okay. Yeah, let me sort of set the stage. This is there's a crawl space under our house, and that's what the rafter is. That's the floor level of it. And you know, we've obviously, me and my son had to do repairs underneath the church several times. So yeah, my son refused to go down there at a certain point. But when we first went down there, we saw this. And it kind of mimics the archways that are above. So we're like, oh, okay. So there's archways that's buried. Like, you know, usually you don't create an archway unless it's leading to something. You know, that's an aesthetic thing you wouldn't do under a church. So just being around there, this is the area that I live in is one of the original coal mine areas of Appalachia. So it came to my mind that, you know, this is what they call is the furnace area. So it's a lot of coal mines, underground, you know, trails.
Right, let's don't go anymore. Let's don't reveal anymore because I just, you know me, I'm a big chicken shit. I love to be scared. I love horror. I'm a horror freak. But I think visiting that basement, I think the first or second time I went in there, but after that, I really, because I've told you this before, I do believe in evil and I believe, you know, that ghosts exist, but these poor characters in this book are taken from hell to a deeper hell. And it's like, just as you think, you know, that things are going to go wrong, you bring in another messed up character or a messed up scene that it's just like, oh my God, where is this going? And I actually think, I think this is my favorite book from yours. Bottom Feeders and Throwing Shadows will always be my favorite, but this is the book that I think I will probably read every spooky season time of the year. But and you guys, like I said, the book comes out today, so make sure you guys order a copy. Even if you buy the Kindle, you've got to experience this tale of horror and sadness. And it's just, it is, you went all out in this one. And I love the way that you bring your favorite horror tropes and what in the hell scares Jerry Roth into this book, because as I was flipping the pages, like I told you on the phone, everybody, I'd got about a third into the book. And when Jerry had sent me the box that you guys watched him a couple of videos back where I unveiled the box of all the stuff that Jerry sent me in the box, I immediately, I was reading the book, and as I'm coming across things, I was like, God, do I write this down? Do I want to? But I didn't do any of that. And you know, when you and I talked last time on the phone, I told you I did figure out a couple of them, but there's still so much more I need to do with this book. I really need to, you know, pick it back up. And as much as I want to, and I love this picture. I love where I have to remember this picture. Now that whole area of the church.
Yeah.
Of course, it doesn't look like that anymore because, you know, it's been converted into a house. But if Jerry Roth were to do this all over again, would you have ever not bought that house, or do you regret anything about living in Moxie Manor? Or What about the kids?
No, I think the thing is it was definitely a harder existence. It not like it was we were settlers or anything, but you're isolated. You're in a church by yourself. And Moxie is really a small little town. There are bigger towns in the area that are closer to like Columbus size, but this one is a really small isolated thing. And you know people in Appalachian areas, they are survivors, so you're talking about people who don't throw things away, who scavenge for metal. So it's a harder existence, but and superstition is it's a lot more prevalent in this area. These people
Mm,
are superstitious. They've seen things, they've passed down things from generations of what they saw and what they see in this area. So there's a lot of history. So I wanted to try to tread lightly on that and bring
mm,
in some stories that I've heard about. I mean, one of the things that I've heard about in the past, in Appalachian areas, is the Watchers. So it's always been reported that Watchers are always in the woods in these areas. So I didn't have to pull very far to bring that in because this is something that people claim they see all the time there. So when I use a character like that, I wanted to like bring in the feeling of the area without really stepping on it.
yeah, because it kind of reminded me of almost like New Jersey's the Pine Barrens, the way you describe it in the book, and
Yeah.
the Watchers, the whole. It just That was a whole nother where my mind would go off, and I was like, God, Richie, this reminds me of, the New Jersey Devil, and
Yeah.
you just you have a way of taking the pen, or I've asked you this before. Don't you write on a do you write on your tablet, or
No,
do you
I
write on
write
your computer?
I write on computer. I used to write long form,
Uh,
but then but the kind of editing process obviously was a pain because you had to rewrite everything in order
yeah.
to edit it. So I moved away from that, and I'm more modern take. But I'm like I think we've talked about it before. I'm a pantser, so none of these
Yeah,
none of
I'd
these.
never heard that. I'd never heard that term before, and I was like, "What the hell's a pantser?" And then Solomon mentioned it one time too, so it was just
Yeah.
like, it's just so. Yeah, you're a pantser.
So
Um,
I don't want to put anything on paper ahead of time. I want the story to lead me where it does. So if I'm shocked to where it's going, there is no way that most of my readers are going to figure out where I'm going because I don't know where I'm going. So I always find that that really, I think it excites my readers when they clearly you could be like, and I think one of the newspaper reporters who did this book says you don't even know what's going to happen to this book until the last 5 pages. So
mm,
I want to give people a journey. I want to, sometimes I put in a lot of characters just to kind of round out, to give it a grounded feeling. Stephen King is a master at writing about two characters throughout a book. I like to have a lived in feel where you see people come in and out, because that's how the world works. People come in and out of your life, opportune moments or inopportune moments.
mm.
And I think that you can kind of feel that in this book. Like everybody plays a part, whether you know it until the end, what their part is. And I think that was kind of what I did with Bottom Feeders. A lot of
Oh
people were
God,
like, a lot
that
of
book.
people, a lot of people read
That
that book and they were like, why am I reading 200 pages about this character? But then at the
Oh
end,
my God,
you find out.
that whole desk. That I'll never forget that desk from that book. And oh, when he pulls that drawer out, and I just that's still I love the cover art, but I've had like probably 8 or 9 emails from me asking, you know, Richie, when I get my copy, mine says on the back, you guys, it says special edition right here. Now, Jerry, there's nothing cut out of this version from the one that's on sale, right?
No, absolutely. Everything is the same. Obviously, the cover is different, and
Yeah.
the artwork is different. Um, but I wanted to keep it the same. I just wanted to give something special to the people who stepped up and purchased first. I mean, something like this, it helps me kind of fuel the launch. It helps me deliver something fresh and exciting, so to get people talking. But what I did do is because I wanted to kind of keep that excitement alive. So for moving forward, at least for the foreseeable future, I'm going to have the one that's going to be one at the stores, but I'm also going to, along with this one, I'm going to have a cursed item that I send along with it, just so that you can have share some of the fun that
Mhm.
other people shared before the launch. So I'm gonna at least have a cursed item to go along with this one. That'll be on my website. But the thing is that when as you mentioned earlier, what I like to do is I like to put a lot of Easter eggs in there, a lot of hidden clues.
Oh my
Uh,
God. And they
and
were everywhere. They were
yeah.
everywhere. I love that.
Some have to do with the story, some don't. Some have to do with the characters. Some have to do with just the act of putting something fun into it, as you mentioned about the Ovaltine. Um, but what I like to
And we
do,
all know that. We all know where that came from. A Christmas Story. I mean,
how could you not put in it? Like that's the most best password ever, right? So that's like the best Easter egg, and I had to put it in there.
I
But
loved that. I loved that. It cracked my ass up. But first, and I forgot to tell you this before we actually start recording. I want to tell you thank you so much for taking time out of your vacation. Everybody, Jerry's on vacation, so it's just like when him and I were talking about when we want to do this. I didn't really want to take time away from him and his family, but he said, "Hey, it's cool. Let's do it while I'm on vacation." So
yeah,
I'm glad I'm not taken out of your work day or your time with Trish and the kids. But
yeah. No,
it just,
I
yeah.
would do one with you once a week. I swear. Like,
You know what? I would too. So don't put that a little P in
yeah.
my brain. But what is on your shirt? Normally I have a horror shirt on too. It says horror, persons living dead or undead. Oh my God. How do you I remember those. Remember the it looks like the movie rating code from
Yeah, yeah.
the old drive-in movie ads. And
Yeah.
it's like you and I talked before. I want to do I so and we should do it with it,
Mm.
sometime in this month. We need to do it again. We need to do a horror movie tagline or trivia video, because I would love to just sit with you and ramble, throw a year at you and you throw back a movie. And
Yeah.
every time I talk to you, I I have so much fun, because it's like, though we've never met in person, it feels like I've known you for 10 or 15 years. It feels like um, you and I would just go out for a beer, or
We would. We would.
take Trish and the kids and Bruce and just go out and go see a scary ass movie or stuff. But I just, are you working? Have you already started working on anything else or not?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I have this is going to be just for your audience, I guess. So I'm actually going to be writing under a pseudonym next year. So I decided to do something a little different. And obviously, I'm going to come back. I'm going to switch off between my two author names and come back and write another one. But what I am doing next year is I'm going to write my first dark YA fantasy. So it's, me, it's going to be dark.
Oh,
But
right.
I wanted an idea where I could kind of bring, everybody loves fantasy or in one aspect or another, but I wanted to see how dark I can, inject, you know, children in the story. So that's going to be my new thing. And just for the people who are here, because I'm not going to probably say it anywhere else, but I'll
Yeah.
say it for your audience, is that I'm going to go under the name Casper Finch. So if you see that name out there out in the wild,
No shit.
he's going to
No
be
shit.
he's going to be a brand new author starting next year. And the funny thing is that people always use a pseudonym in different ways. I think J.K. Rowling, she doesn't
Oh,
really talk about hers or the guy that she has
and I
a
mean,
character.
probably the most famous author pseudonym is Richard Bachman. And
Of course.
Owen West, that Dean
Hmm.
Koontz published the Funhouse under and stuff. But it's like, so I've always wanted to ask Stephen King him to himself, but I can ask you,
Yeah.
why would an author, I mean, I think it's the greatest idea, because I love the character of Casper Finch. I
Yeah.
could actually see this character as being a personal friend. So, but why would an author choose to do that? Why I mean,
Yeah,
When
I can see that. And I think the thing with the reason that I'm deciding to do it is, kind of like, I guess, in the way that Richard Bachman became a real thing, is that I want to kind of. I think the thing with horror is there's it's a very niche but very powerful genre.
Mhm, mhm,
People are so in love with the genre, but
mhm.
with that they also come with a lot of expectations. It's hard for anybody to kind of step out of that genre. When they read my stuff, like this one here, I think I add a lot more elements of splatterpunk, which
Oh
I
my God,
really
I loved it. I loved it.
which I never done in any of my other books. I thought, why not just a little step out a little bit? But it's the little things like that when your readership, they have certain expectations for you. So I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of readers that don't like splatterpunk. Some people like the vibe of bottom feeders. So I feel like you are really in kind of in a box when you're a horror writer, and it's a good box to be in when. But I felt like I want to go do something completely different. And as Casper Finch, I can write fantasy.
Oh,
I can write middle grade. I have a middle grade idea that I want to really kind of explore. So it's a way
so
to give myself.
Is Casper going to have a author picture in the back?
And you know what's funny is, and maybe I'll send it to you for the heck of it.
You have
I have
to.
pictures of me when I was younger, and I'm going to use pictures of me when I was younger because I don't really look as much like I did when I was younger. But when I was in my 20s, I had blonde hair and I looked completely different, probably bone skinny. But I'm going to put those on the back of my thing, and hopefully it doesn't upset and ruffle too many feathers that I'm pretending to be somebody else. But
But you're
it's kind
not. I mean,
yeah,
those of us that have all read horror for our entire lives, we know you're not trying to be somebody else. And
sure.
the fact that you're going to be the character that you created, I think that's incredible. I think that's so ingenious. And when I wasn't expecting you to say, I'm going to write something as Casper Finch, that's why I started laughing because I love the character and his background and his story was just it's yeah, I think this is my new favorite. This could easily knock bottom feed, and I've read bottom feeders now 3 times, and
Wow.
I want to listen to it. I really want to listen to the audio, but I remember the first time I read it, and I just like, wow, this dude's gonna be an author that I really, really want to read his next stuff, and I'm pumped now because I can't wait. I've ordered another copy in the blue, so I'll have both a
Okay.
green one and the blue. But I'm really I was blown away with this one.
Oh,
And I know a lot of people. Tammy Ellis, a friend of mine, she got one of your author boxes, and I
okay.
talked to her right before you and I went live and or started recording this, and I asked her, I said, you haven't opened your box? I said, you've had it for, she said, I want to wait till you and Jerry do the interview. And then I was going to take a video and have you pop it in. I told her, I said, I can edit it later. I said,
Yeah.
and she said, it's killing me not to open it. She said, so I promise, I'll open it today. So, everybody just get your copy because I was so proud of you, Jerry, when you told me, wow, all the author boxes have almost gone. They're almost gone. I was just like, the way you marketed that box, it's like I told I've already said everybody, it was fucking ingenious. It was genius. It was when I opened that box. Goosebumps again. When I opened that box, I think the first thing I saw were the scrolls.
Yeah.
And like a dumbass, I opened the one and I was like, oh, I'm not opening the second one. So yeah, you marketed this one really, really well. And what you do with the puzzles in this one blew me away. Blew me away.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
It
So
just
it's one of those things where, and if you're new to me or new to the channel, it's one of those things where I like to hide. I love puzzles, so I hide hidden things, hidden messages. And obviously, you can enjoy the book without it. I tried to make this one even more subtle, and there are some limitations with some things that you probably couldn't see because of today's, printing press or whatever. But if anybody's out there who wants the true experience of the book, usually it's the opposite. But I think the Kindle version might be the way to go this time because they're crystal clear pictures and you can see all the clues. Because I
Oh God, yeah.
even in the pictures I hid visuals for you to try to discover. So the Kindle thing is the way to go. Usually it's the opposite. Most of my stuff that I hide in my books, I would say the print version is the way to go. But this one here, if you happen to love a Kindle, I think your experience will be even better if you're looking to find Easter eggs.
Yeah,
They're
I
easier
have
to
it on my
see.
I have it on my Kindle. I bought a Kindle copy, and I kind of agree with you because I could enlarge the screen.
Yeah.
Um, as
Yeah.
much as I did not want to pick up that amulet, that necklace, and use
Yeah.
it to, but yeah, everybody, you guys, when you pick up this book, you're a master at the hidden gems and the puzzles because what you did with this one blew bottom feeders the
Wow.
secrets of bottom feeders away. And this one, like I told you, I still have like 2 formats to go. I
Yeah.
still have to find, but it was great. It was great. And
Oh, well, thank you.
I cannot wait to do another one of these with you. Now that we've talked about it, I really, really want to follow through and do it. So
Yeah.
I know weekends are good for you, but we'll talk about that after we wrap this up. But is there anything you want to throw to the readers before we let each other go real quick?
That's a good question. Just to say, hey, thank you for the support that you've done with me and Richard as well. It's like amazing. Every time I come on here, I feel like this is a home away from home. And
It's weird. It's weird. And
yeah,
when we talk to each other, even when we talk on the phone, it's just like I can talk to you about anything. I can, I don't have to watch what I say. And
yeah,
it's like the old saying, diarrhea of the mouth. Everything that
yeah,
comes out to me is from this horror hound to that horror hound.
yeah.
And what you did in this book, it was genius. And
Oh, thank you. I
I
appreciate it.
promise I'll put you above Solomon and I'll get you on here more. And, but really, we should do like a bi-monthly thing, or I would do it every week.
Absolutely.
It's just like,
Absolutely.
I have the time, even if we took a half hour and just popped in and said, hey dude, what the hell are you doing? Let's talk horror. And I know we could, because
Yeah.
I could sit here and do this with you for hours.
Absolutely. A monthly horror review, some horror movies you and I talk about. I think I could do that easily forever. So, but
I could.
I want to thank you for having me on and giving me your platform to talk about my book. And
Oh, thank you so much. That means the world to me.
and
And
it comes out today, and I want you guys
yeah.
to know that all of your support is amazing. And please come to my even if you don't want to go to like Amazon. I know that everybody loves Amazon, but come to my website. I'll sign a copy of it personally
Yeah,
for you.
you guys need to have a physical copy. Go to his website and actually order the book. It's not the same as reading an Amazon Kindle version. I like to smell that. I love to crack that binding open, and I've told you so many times I want to come to Ohio so bad and ride roller coasters. And now that I know Moxie, is Moxie Hall? What's the town's name?
Moxahala, Ohio.
Yeah, so I do. Now I've put 2 more things on my bucket list that I really want to do. I want to go to Ohio and I want to meet you, and I just want to hang out and just go. I think you could show me some things there that would literally scare the hell out of me. And
That would be cool. Anytime, please come.
Moxie Manor did it, bud, and it just Carol and Harper and Casper and Twix. I mean, all these characters were just, yeah. I'll always treasure that creepy ass desk from Bottom Feeders, and this one. Now that I've talked to you about it, I am going to open my little jar when we get off here, and I'm going to read the second scroll. So hey, if you guys see us next time, and I have an eye missing or my teeth are all fucking knocked out, you'll know it was something Jerry put in that box or something. But it's like,
I know. I think I did some advertisement for the box set that I was selling, and you know, you can also make comments on it. And one of the older gentlemen on there that must have come across it said, "Why in the hell would I ever buy a cursed item and have it sent to my house?" So let me just say
It's like,
that the items I sent to you are not really, you know, cursed. But I did write. I wrote a backstory for him, and I gave you a creepy history of him. So it's more for fun. You know, I'm not going to do
it
that.
was fun. It
I
was
wouldn't
fun,
put that
but
on anyone.
you marketed that box perfect. You marketed that
Oh,
box
thank
perfect.
you.
And as I did, I've talked about this book a lot, and it's funny because when we were on a cruise, I got to let you go because I don't want to take up any more of your time.
Oh,
But
you're
when we
fine.
were in Europe, I was reading this book on the crows in the crow's nest
Yeah.
at the very front of the boat, and I don't know how many people said, "What are you reading? That looks like a scary book," and I was like, it is a scary book. And then, of course, this lady was sitting next to me, and we were both drinking. I think we were drinking Guinness with fresh black currant squeezed into it. She said, "Oh, I love a good horror story." I said, "You need to buy this." I said, it's about a very, very creepy haunted church, but it's about a man and his wife." And she was like, "Oh, can I look at it?" So she looked at it, and she's like, "What are all these little markings in here?" I said, "Oh, that's my personal scratch." I said, "I'm marking things in there." I said, "I can't tell you what that is." And then I told her, about the box, and she ordered a copy, and
Oh, that's
it was
great.
just funny because I really think this is the book that's gonna. I loved it, but I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait now for Casper Finch.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm working on next. But for the people who don't know, you know, sometimes, you know, as a writer, you need a backstory. So I actually wrote a half finished version of a prequel to this. It's about Lauren Deville and Nathaniel Deville, which which in most people don't know, but Bottom Feeders is Deville, Robert Deville. So this
Mhm.
is relatives of his that goes back that own Moxie Manor years before. Obviously, if you read the book, he's not the nicest guy in the world, Nathaniel Deville. So I wrote a backstory, a novel that I may or may not eventually put out, but I just needed that to write
But I
that in
know
order to
I
get
know
this.
I'll have my own personal copy. I know I'll have my own. I
I'll just
know
send it to
I'll have
you.
my own PDF copy of it. So
I'll just
yeah.
send it to you. Don't worry.
So yeah, you guys. But once again, I want to tell you thank you so much. Thanks for taking time out of your day, and thanks for giving me. You did you scared me with this one. You scared me with this one more than you did when I read. Oh God, there's still four stories in Throwing Shadows, and you guys,
Right.
if you like short horror fiction or short, Jerry has some killer ones in there, and
And
yeah,
I guess I will since I'm trying to not be on as many podcasts. I only like yours. There's only a few that I like. And but I will say though that you know, when Bottom Feeders first came out, I was a really green writer. I didn't know the editing process, and I kind of left it to everybody else to try to make it look polished, and I was never really happy with that. So this past summer, I took the time and I completely re-edited Bottom Feeders,
no
and
shit.
I re-edited it, and I actually extended the first chapter to probably another 50 pages, so you get a better insight of the
5-0 or 1-5, 50
50. So
pages.
yep, 50. So I extended the first chapter so you learn the history of the people who brought in the baby in the first chapter. If you've ever read the book, it's kind of a crucial part of it. But I wanted to give more content. This is what my original idea was going to be, to extend the first chapter, let you see what the pregnancy was like, the creepy supernatural elements that were added to it. For the original thing, I thought it'd be better, or at least I was told that it'd be better to make the chapter a little smaller, a little punchier. But I think this is a better version. So you can get the Kindle version now. I don't think
Wow.
I don't think the publisher has gotten the print copy ready yet. So if you're looking for that, you have to wait for an announcement for that. But if you're looking for a new edition of Bottom Feeders where it could be a completely different experience for you and maybe more true to what I thought it was going to be, then pick up the Kindle version. It's available now to see what Bottom Feeders should have been or supposed to have been, or maybe my original vision of it.
I can't imagine it being any better, but yeah, that first chapter, whew,
Yeah.
it took me back to It's Alive from
Love
1975.
that. I'm trying to get my kids to watch that movie. I don't know if they ever
Oh my
will.
God! Did you know they made a remake? Here we go talking about. Did you know they made a remake in 2019?
I did not see the remake,
Yeah,
but I
I
saw.
watched it. I watched it with a friend of mine, Angela from DP Creepy Cuties, and she lives in Arizona. And we were watching it, and she called me and she was like, "It was good, but
Not as
it's more scary, but it's not as suspenseful as the original." But yeah, you should look up the remake. It's yeah, with AI and CGI.
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it's
if
not
you
Rick Baker's monster, but
yeah. If you go
it was
back to
good.
that original operating room scene and It's Alive, there is not many more things that could scare you. I
And it was
mean,
PG. It was rated PG
was
when it
it?
came out. Yeah, it was PG.
No way.
PG. Yes, it was PG. In fact, it opened when I saw Audrey Rose for the first time. It's
Right?
Alive was the second movie, and
Okay.
they were both released with and they were both PG. Yeah.
I saw that one way too young, and I think that was the most frightening scene.
That
Yeah,
fucking
it took me a lot of years to revisit that movie. That was one of those movies that every once in a while you'll see a kid's like sees a movie way too young and it messes them up. That was my movie right there.
and the milk truck scene. I love the milk truck scene
Oh,
with the glass milk
jeez.
bottles. I love it. But I am going to let you go. So once again, you guys don't forget, order your copy of Ghost from a Yard Sale, because it's funny because Jerry wrote in the front of mine. He said, he said, stay away from my friend Richard, stay away from yard sales, J. Roth. But yeah, it just you guys, you won't. He does it. Jerry does it in a way that just everyday, just old items, even from a 1970 Polaroid camera. You would never believe what comes out of this man's mind with this stupid little plastic camera. But dude, I want to tell you thank you so much, and I will talk to you later. I'll give you a ring. But thanks for taking time out again on your vacation. So, hey, everybody, pick up your copy of Ghost from a Yard Sale. Just read a good, scary book. It's good for the heart and have great nightmares. And this man will do it. If you've never read him, pick up a copy because you won't be disappointed. So, Jerry, I'm going to let you go. Take care, my friend. We will talk soon, if not see each other soon. But yeah,
Okay.
we need to do this again. Seriously,
Absolutely.
just for fun. I mean, let's just rack each other's brains over horror. I would love to do it.
I love it.
I would have a blast. I would have a blast. So you guys, I'm going to pop Jerry out of here for a minute. Hang on, everybody. Don't leave where you're going. So Jerry, I'll be right back with you. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Yep. So you guys, that was Jerry Roth. You guys pick up this book. It comes out today, wherever books are sold. Get a physical copy. Order a physical copy. Go to his website. I'll leave the link down below in the description and in the scary basement. But you guys, thanks for taking time out of your day. Thanks for stopping by. Nightmares, anyone. I promise next time I'll have my books behind me. Take care, everybody. Thanks.